It's too far gone.
Do it. Say it.
John
Say
B.
it.
Who? John B. Who?
Am I gonna have to
Hey,
say it?
hey, John B. What is it?
Bring it on home, John B.
There it is. Hey, Mark, real quick before we get started, what platforms are we on?
We are on Spotify and YouTube exclusively when it comes to the podcast. We'll soon be on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, but if you'd like to engage with us on a more intimate level, find us on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, maybe Facebook soon. Maybe we'll set up like a Facebook group. But before we have a group, I think we ought to have group members. So
I don't
which came
think you have to
first?
have group members for a group, do you?
No, you don't have to, but it seems like imagine being that. Well, it's all kind of pitiful at this point. We're growing, guys. We're up to 19 followers or subscribers on YouTube. Balls are rolling. Okay, things are in motion. We got some things coming down the pipeline that you're really gonna love. Okay, we're talking lots of money for everybody. The next
If you
quarter,
listen on Apple Podcasts, you're a faggot.
Josh, you can't say that, man. The faggots are on Google.
Oh, okay.
The bundles of sticks, that is.
Sure. Oh, I want to know what you got for me, but I just heard a line from Eminem that I hadn't heard before, and it was something like he made a Trump reference. It was in one of his songs. He made a Trump reference, and then he said, "You gonna get killed if you Mike Pence." And then he's like, "Don't worry for my hypersensitive listeners. I wasn't talking about that guy. I'm killing mics and pens using my." And then he went on and like talking about lyrics. But I was like, that's gold. Like, I kill mics and pens. You know, it's you do the math. If you're too dumb to get it, you're probably what he's talking about.
It's
What
gold,
you got?
man. It's gold. Love it. Love you, Shady. Yo, Marshall Mathers, if you're listening to this, holla at your boy. What's your favorite Eminem song?
uh, I feel like so. I just recently heard the song "Nat" again after a
Mm-hmm.
long time. You know this song? It's like on
Roughly.
his
I've
his
heard
newer
it.
stuff.
Yeah, I've heard it,
Yeah,
but it didn't really like spark my interest so much.
it kind of caught me. It's got a good beat. I also heard Zeus, which is off of the B side of Music to Be Murdered By, I believe. Um, I like that song. I don't know. I'm trying to like categorize in my mind. Of the songs I've listened to the most, I feel like mm, Insane comes to mind.
Is that the
Mockingbird.
is that the one? And by the way, guys, I don't typically use profane language, but when referencing Eminem lyrics, it only makes sense. Is Insane the one? I was born with a dick in my brain. Yeah, fucked in the head. My stepfather said that I sucked in the bed. Till one night he
Yeah.
snuck in and said, "We're going out back. I want my dick sucked in the." Dude, when I heard that song as a little kid, I was like, my parents can't tell me shit. I know everything
Yeah.
now. I know all the bad
Yeah.
words. Yeah.
It's like an injection of fucking I get it. Fuck the world. Yeah.
It was
No,
like
that's the song.
it's like a South Park episode in a
Mm-hmm.
like lyrical form. That's like that,
Yep.
and you could probably say there's like just it's all just profanity. Like profanity is a lot of what makes South Park South Park. And it's not just the words, but it's like the whole thing is profane, and like
Mm-hmm.
every single like really valid point or criticism they make on pop culture, society, they make it in the most profane way. And so whether it's like just dumb humor or really sophisticated humor, they're always profane about it. And Eminem was kind of the same way. And it's just like if he was just rapping real dumb or he was rapping something really eloquent, he was still profane. And there's something
Mm-hmm.
about Something about that embrace of profanity that kind of separates, I guess, subgenres of like whether it's music or TV shows. Because like there's people who will watch The Simpsons and like they'll kind of deviate into like Family Guy, but they're not gonna. No, I'm not. No, I don't watch South Park. That's like, oh. And there's people that like they listen to Drake, and then like they might listen to some Lil Wayne songs, but they're no. If Eminem,
Eminem's
Dick in
too
the
far.
Brain,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Dude, that's I was someone was showing me this Avril Lavigne song. And I listened to the song, pretty good song. I knew the song. And I was like, that's relatable. And then I was like, here's a song Avril Lavigne wishes she had the balls to write. And it was Horror by In This Moment. There's definitely levels to what people can tolerate. I feel like once you listen to, because hip hop's pretty offensive, right? Like a lot of the hip hop scene is, there's high levels of offense and profanity. And then
it's
when you,
counterculture.
it's counterculture, yep.
Yeah,
But
but
then when,
then it elevates and like it becomes like primary culture, and then counterculture becomes something else. Because that's kind of
Mhm.
what's taken place between like 2008 and I'll just say the decade that followed. So 2018, it's like hip hop culture kind of became the primary culture.
Yep.
But up until then, it was just like no, that was counterculture. Primary culture was
Yeah.
like MSNBC, PBS, and you know George Strait.
Hmm. Did you ever listen to George Strait?
Yeah,
Tom McDonald has a song actually referencing that. He's talked about. He said Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom. Now he's mad at fans if they voted for Trump or something like that.
got him.
Uh, Similar point, right? But
I like that.
uh, you know, if you shift genres, like if you shift from the hip hop thing to say like deathcore or death metal, now you're not talking like the offense and the profanity go into this grisly up curve where it's like no, not fuck you because you're a pussy. It's like fuck you and the world and me forever. It's like, oh word, okay, like quit being a pussy, go fucking blow up this reality. Like that's it's wild. Some of the like Whitechapel and Meth Witch and just off the wall bands like that are just insanely profane.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like you're in an aircraft and you're like subtly like ascending to like cruising altitude, and then it's like death metal and it's like boom, and then like the G force just like knocks everybody out. And there's just like one
Yeah.
metalhead who's just like
You know what I like about that though? The effect in my life, and like I feel like this when like if I'm meeting someone new, someone's like introducing me to a song and they're like, "Oh, it's a little offensive." I'm like, "First of all, there's not a fucking thing I could ever listen to that would personally offend me in this next song. I trust me. Like it's all good."
I'm
But
calling
I've
BS.
also I that's probably true. But I also notice with other metalheads, like if you're introduced to someone and you're right away, someone who introduces you, a friend or someone, they're like, oh, they're a metalhead. They don't give a fuck about whatever music is playing. And if it's like Cardi B or something, they'll be like, gross. But they will never be offended by what's happening.
That's why I called BS. That was gonna be my example was Cardi B, and then
Yeah,
Nicki
Cardi B would
Minaj. It's
offend
like,
me. That shit's not art. That's not even, it's not music. It's garbage.
um,
But
yeah,
yeah, I,
no,
I like that effect. I like that they're calm, they're not offended because it's like they've already maxed out. They've maxed out that stat.
yeah.
So it's
It's
like
like
they're
they
not going
put
to offend me.
they put all of their character attributes into not being offended by music. It's like, but they can't hold a consistent relationship. They can't file their
Yeah,
own
a job.
taxes. They dropped out of college. It's like they've got no wisdom. no arcane, no strength. All of their RPG stats are invested in not being offended by the lyrics.
It's good,
That's
right?
funny. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the type of person who like when I get into a car, and I'm not a metalhead, but if I get into a car and someone takes the aux or the Bluetooth and they start playing music, I'm never gonna be like, "Can we listen to something else?" Or like I'm never gonna complain. I'm never gonna try to be like, "Oh, you listen to this? Oh, yuck!" But so many people do that, and it drives
So
me
many people.
up the wall. And not even like people don't do it to me. I have wonderful taste in music and I know how to read the room. I know when you sit down in the passenger seat whether or not you want to hear Benny and the Jets or Eminem. And I know whether or not you're sitting in the passenger seat if Stephanie, whose opinion I value more, wants to hear Benny and the Jets or Eminem. So I don't get a lot of criticism except maybe from you, but I'm over it.
That's because you have popular music taste. Try liking Meth Witch and then having friends. It does like it's weird, man. If you play like if you're around people that don't listen to metal consistently and you play metal casually, people are concerned. Yeah, maybe they should be. Fair enough. I fair enough.
Coincidence?
Maybe yeah, maybe they should be.
I think not. Yeah.
Then you got to tailor your music choices. You got to play an old Daft Punk album and try and relate to them and shit. And you're like, okay, like
So in my ex-wife, when we were in high school together, she liked A Day to Remember. And I used to think that was like devil music. And like my family and we would give her so much. And I was like the least sophisticated. Still to this date, this next statement stands true. It rings throughout eternity, and I can't, no matter how noise canceling my headphones are, I can always hear this vibration reverberating through the freaking fabric of time and space. I'm a idiot. Okay. So, and I was an idiot then, I'm an idiot now. But we used to give her so much crap because she liked screamo music, and we listened
mhm.
to freaking George Strait, Waylon Jennings, Leonard Skinner.
Good music. Yeah.
Good music, Bubba. Good.
Hmm.
And then we went our separate ways. That was super traumatic. Fast forward a couple of years, and then I meet you, and I'm like, brother,
There's other levels.
there's levels to this game. Um, yeah. So, uh, disrespect your surroundings. Am I right, bro?
Disrespect your surroundings.
Put
Yeah, there's definitely levels to it. I still like A Day to Remember some of their stuff. It's weird too when you go. I feel like a lot of my metal listening over the years, or just music listening in general, I wanted the heaviest stuff I could find. Like I want like it's got to be heavier. There's a whole culture out there, right, to find the heaviest drops, the top 10 heaviest drops. This is bullshit in a lot of ways. But
Bro, that freaking YouTube title lives in your head rent free.
it does. It does. Uh but like in that pursuit, I feel like I hit a ceiling somewhere. I maxed out and
Probably in
I'm
your
maxed
basement.
out. No, no, no. I maxed out on like Cannibal Corpse or Meth Witch or there's other bands. There's this band called Ayatolian Creation or something. It's awesome. It's a sick band, but you listen to it and you're like I'm physically ill and it's fucking awesome. And then like once you hit that level though, like Chelsea Grin, just there's heavy deep
Whitechapel?
sounds. Whitechapel's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're kind of
still
up
listen to
there.
Whitechapel. I love
Yeah.
Whitechapel. But then it almost takes you back. It's like you kind of like arc, and you're like, like I listen to Haste the Day now when I'm at the gym. I listen to A Day to Remember. I listen to Wage War. I listen to, like more
Imagine
almost
Dragons.
melodic. No, no. So the arc, I ran out of gas and make the arc that far. But it is weird when there's like a limit to certain things. You can only be so. Same thing with heavy electronic music. If like subtronics and like that heavy like head banging electric scene, you can go so far into that, and then after a while, it's just like, oh, it's just noise. It kind of, there's a limit.
Yeah, it's like
There's no limit to country.
none. There is, dude. There's such a like I don't know what the actual term for it would be. Maybe it's like new country, maybe it's yeah, I have no idea because I'm not super into country music. I like the genre of country music that I like most is probably southern rock, right? And that's like Leonard Skinner. That's not you're listening to Leonard
Mhm.
Skinner, you're not listening to country music, You're not listening to, you know, I was sitting there selling turnips on a flatbed truck. It's like no,
Good song though.
a great song. Um, but I don't know what you call. There's some genre of new country where it's just like they're just making like references, obscure references that only like 18-year-olds in the most rural part of my like central sort of Alabama environment would understand. It's like talking about, their squatted Chevys and things like that. And I hear that on the radio and I'm just like, I'm gonna set this truck on fire and I'm just gonna file an insurance claim. I'm gonna get a new truck because that radio's tainted. This whole truck is tainted. And it's like so there's a limit. There's a limit to country music for sure. But for me, metal
Sure.
metal was like when I first embraced it, I was like, hell yeah, brother. But over time it became like a utility, or it became like a tool in my toolbox. It's like I don't listen to metal often, but sometimes I'll walk out of a customer's house and I'll just be like,
Disrespect your surroundings.
it's like, sometimes I interact with somebody and I just need to hear something a little bit heavier. And I think the best example, so the song Beauty and Tragedy by August Burns Red, that's like my
Mhm.
all-time favorite song. I hardly ever listen to that song, but every time I listen to it, I'm just like, it takes me away to some place that no song has ever taken me. And it's like that song really, it serves a purpose and it comes in handy sometimes. But I don't listen to it
Mm.
often. And I don't listen to much music of that genre often. I typically listen to like more laid back music. But
Mhm.
some days it's really nice to like understand the value provided by songs that are played in drop D.
Sure. Yeah, I still like August Burns Red. Like they have a lot of good albums. Even their newer albums, fantastic, so good.
I still
Um,
believe the introduction to Mariana's Trench is like one of the best intros to any song. I love it so much.
yeah, yeah, it's a very good song. It's a very good album. I feel that same way about Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter has some more calm stuff as well, but they
Hmm.
have like a very heavy kind of that driving sound that and it's really good. It's timeless. Like it's not doesn't seem like it's warped in, or it's bound by a decade. There's a lot of bands that do not age well.
Yeah.
Like you listen to them 10 years later, you're like, what the fuck
We're
what is
talking to
that?
you,
Like,
plain white tees and Metro Station.
yep.
Um, Demon Hunter would be a great name for a cult. I'm in.
Like, what do you guys do?
Well, isn't it obvious? Do you really even have to ask that question? Are you? Should we start a cult? I think we had entertained the idea of starting, if not a cult, at least a secret society. You know, a silent fraternal order at some point. And I think that that stems from wanting to be a part of something greater, like a greater community, but not really feeling like we fit in any of the sort of mainstream communities. And then also wanting to be sort of entangled in something that feels divine or spiritual, but not really finding our homes in like modern churches, and just being like,
Hmm.
where do I go? Because it's like, I love riding motorcycles and I love friends and I love riding motorcycles with friends. But every motorcycle club that I've ever like, or every member of every motorcycle club I've ever,
Idiots,
yeah, yeah, okay,
morons,
well, okay.
not the
Hey,
lifestyle.
if you're listening to this and you're a member of the Hells Angels, his words, not mine. But,
If you're part of the Mongols, also my words, not yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. Should we start a cult? What do you think?
I guess I don't know. I have time. I got spare time. I could devote to that. You know, that's something. Real quick, I feel like so many people are so busy, like so busy. If you ask, and this is the first person to point this out to me was Jordan Peterson on one of his lectures. But it's like if you ask the modern person, which is if you're talking to a person, they're modern. How's it going? What are you up to? How's life? One of the first things most people will say to you is super busy, so busy, just staying packed, booked, you know. So but that's not me. I have time to start a cult and I'm willing. uh yeah, either way, it could be a good cult or a bad cult. Yes, I believe in bad cults.
I could introduce you to some friends back home that are not modern.
Okay, fair enough. Like there's a lot of people in this area too. They're
Yeah.
not busy at all, man. I saw school age kids shooting fish in the pond out in the back 40 on a Tuesday at 10 in the morning.
Nice.
Like, you guys are not busy and you're not going to be busy for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
What
people.
what would it what would a good how do you start a good cult?
Well, it's got to be. It's so. I think the key is that in the beginning, it's got to be real and it's got to be surreal and it's got to like meet a need for a pretty large group that's not, probably not even. It's got to meet.
I think it has to be a small group, doesn't it?
Well, here's the thing. Like, so if you, let's say you tell 100 people about your cult, your group, your church, your new sect, uh, you need, for every 100 people you tell, you need one or two of them, right, to like be like, oh, okay, I'm willing to entertain this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you that's like, that's 1 or 2%. When you extrapolate, there's 8 billion people. 1 or 2%, that's quite a lot of people. Anyways, you need a group of people who are looking to have a very specific, a very niche need met that society is either not meeting for them, or whoever is meeting that need in modern society, they're not being exposed to that content or that information, right? So you got to step in, you meet the need, you do it.
Take the initiative.
You got to be as just, as real and down to earth as possible. And then a few years later, then you start molesting people.
I feel like if you're trying to do something that's going to be ultimately dangerous, you don't want to be too forthright about saying how undangerous it is. You know, like if I was going to join a cult and someone was like, "Yeah, no, it's not illegal. We're not doing anything wrong." We're like, I'd be like, I don't know about this. So if you're going to start a cult, you need to be like, that has to be assumed, and then you got to be like, no, I don't even know what's a good topic for a cult.
I feel like you could start a cult.
It's usually sexual, right?
No, no, it usually ends up being sexual. In the
Oh,
beginning, I think it's
that's it.
I think there's a matrix. It's like spiritual and then sexual and then let me try that again. Spiritual,
Yep.
sexual, and then the sexual takes off and the spiritual plummets. I feel like that's the trend. I don't know for sure. I have very limited experience with cults. If you've been in a cult, find us in the comments section. We'd love to hear about it. But yeah, I feel like a great way to start a cult nowadays would be to like set up a nonprofit and just be like, hey, we're, here's our nonprofit. And just cast a large net, make it something super, super vague. Like, we are just, our mission is to just feed as many starving homeless people as possible. But then you can, like, once you know that's like, once you build rapport with somebody, you're like, oh, it's okay if we squeeze this homeless man's tush because we're also providing him the bread that sustains him. Without us, he is nothing. So his tush is our tush, And it's like, okay, well, maybe. I mean, I'm not gonna
And then
argue with
pretty
you.
soon you're sitting on a homeless man's face. My tush is your tush. Uh, is that I can't join a cult?
That's a wrap, folks.
I have what's called an active imagination. Um, so I tell you what, I don't know what a good topic to start a cult is, but I know one of the broadest pathways to get people involved is to your point, to help the world, like to be better, to be more inclusive, to make us all on the same. That's the perfect highway. I don't know what a good end goal is to get people once you get them in the door, but if you want to get every fucking non-critically thinking sucker in the world involved, or at least entertain whatever you're talking about, just tell them you want to make the world a better place. Like, be more inclusive, make it better, and people are going to be like, your intentions are off the chart good. I'm listening. It's like, you're a fucking moron. Come here. Get in here.
Hey, I think I need
We need 10 more like you. You got any friends that believe in UFOs?
Would you mind scratching my back for me real quick? Yeah. No, you can go through the shirt. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll take my shirt off. You just nail on skin. It's like, okay.
A little slower. Slow down. Slow down.
Lower, 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 lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get them in the door. I'll worry about the end goal. Okay.
If yeah, but okay. I'm going to be honest with you. If we start a cult, I want half of the massages. I will not split this 60-40 like the PayPal thing with the t-shirts.
Bro, you have the massages. I'll be the treasurer. Okay. You could be the PE teacher. I'll be heading up the accounting department. I need some new white shoes.
Oh yeah, you do. Dude, that's what Ravi Zacharias, man. That's what he told. Did we I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or not, but that's what he told them. Like that Ravi Zacharias was that evangelist, evangelical speaker for Christianity, world renowned for having discussions for Christianity. Very eloquent speaker, very charismatic, very knowledgeable on the Bible and on fundamentals of life and stuff. And he was telling, after the fact, once he passed away, it came out that he was telling masseuses that he was sleeping with and having sex with, and that if they should share each other's body because it was the gift that God was giving them, but they shouldn't tell this to other people because other people don't understand the depth of it and it may cost them their salvation in life. That's how he was like keeping a cap on getting a blowjob from some Thai masseuse. It worked. Got away with it.
I mean,
Motherfucker got away with it.
politics.
Ah.
Am I right?
I do like Thai food though.
Check out our website, joshandmark.com. Go ahead, go to the website, check it out. I did all the work. Scroll down to the very bottom. You're going to see a thing that's going to ask you for your email. You're going to think to yourself, I'm not putting my email in there. Put your email in there and hit submit. We're not going to send you anything yet. You better believe the moment anyone
We're gonna exploit that shit.
wants to advertise through us, manipulate the data that we've gotten our hands on through whatever this is. Yeah, kiss your email address goodbye, baby. But as of right now, we're not going to send you anything, so you might as well put your email address in there. It's not going to hurt you yet. It's only going to help us. We love you guys. We love you. We care for you. We're praying for you. We don't quite understand how the YouTube algorithm works just yet. So if you want to just get down in the comment section and, just play around, the world is yours. Have fun. We'll see you guys next time.
As a consumer, don't overthink it.